Welcome to Give Me 5 Minutes, WTM Africa's on-site podcast, where we capture the pulse of the show floor with dynamic conversations. I am your host, Andela Mlandu, broadcasting from our very own sound garden right here at the CTICC. Let's dive in. Joining me today is Andrew Flatt, the marketing director from Desert and Delta Safaris. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. This is a great privilege.
I would love to know from you if you could please tell us a little bit more about Desert and Delta Safaris and what it is that you guys do.
With great pleasure. Desert and Delta Safaris is a lodge ownership group. We own 10 lodges in Botswana and one across the river in Namibia. And we run the lodges, we run luxury tourism safaris, and we are massive champions of empowering people through tourism in our country. So we like to think that we are a blend of luxury tourism meets real people.
What strategies do you use to position Desert and Delta Safaris? To make sure that you stay ahead of the curve and that you are leaders in a competitive tourism market?
To be honest, I think strategy is always a difficult one because there's so many people who are doing so many amazing things across our continent, and maybe their voices are not always as amplified. We've been around for 45 years in Botswana. We were one of the first circuits that started in the luxury tourism space. And what's always worked for us was to remain very grounded. So while we have these strategies of really effective communication, of highlighting responsible tourism principles, to be honest, what we focus on is the doing. Excuse me, is the doing. Is we walk the talk every day, and then we hope that our efforts are seen and felt broader and broader and wider, and hopefully by doing so we're providing more of a voice for the voiceless in the country. Rather than shouting from the rooftops and saying, hey, look how great we are, come visit us. It's more a case of this is what we have done, this is what we're doing. If you want to be part of it, this is how you can do it.
Well, it speaks to, true to what you're saying about walking the talk. I mean, you guys are the recipients of a Responsible Tourism Award. Congratulations.
Thank you kindly.
What does an accomplishment like that mean to you?
To be honest, it's not necessarily the award that's the accomplishment. It's that there's recognition being given out, and the credit has got to go to WTM and the efforts in trying to encourage people to talk more about what it is that they are championing. In our case, it's cultural diversity. It's a way to integrate the traveler and the local people, and the opportunity to try and use that dynamic to further empower people, create better opportunities. And I suppose the walk the talk part of it is that you get a really beautiful opportunity to stand up on stage and a nice photo taken with a prize, but it exposes us to the other winners and the other nominees who are also doing amazing things, and it allows us to learn from each other and to further potentially develop our strategies and how we can, enhance our empowerment. And then for those who are sitting on the other end and watching the awards and thinking, hey, we're maybe doing something amazing, it encourages them to continue, to keep trying, to keep empowering people in our case, to keep saving species, to keep doing whatever it is they're doing, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There are people who care about it, and it helps us place more emphasis on the responsible tourism aspect, ensuring that people who are traveling to Africa, who are traveling to these destinations where we really need their support and we really want to welcome them, they're making decisions based on responsible tourism principles as opposed to something I saw on TikTok or, not to say there's anything wrong with TikTok, of course it's a means of communication, but it's really important for us that we inspire. And it was quite interesting. I was very excited. We won the One to Watch award this year for a project that only ended 3 days ago.
Wow.
It's an amazing feat that we did, and this recognition means everything to us because it's so fresh. But what was really inspiring was that there was people who won ahead of our project. And we thought we're doing the most unique and amazing thing in the world. And here's a group of judges who can say you are and well done, but there are people who are doing more. So that inspires me to go, wow, there's more we can achieve, there's more we can do, there's more to collaborate on. And I think that that's really important. It's this amplification of the voices of the efforts rather than just the product.
And that amplification of voices, even through storytelling, which, storytelling is no longer a buzzword these days. How do you use storytelling within your organization and to amplify the work that you're doing?
You've hit the nail on the head. storytelling is not just a buzzword anymore. You've got to live it, and we're African. Africans are the best storytellers in the world. Maybe the Latinas might disagree, they're great storytellers too, but traditionally and ingrained in our philosophies and in our history and in our cultures is storytelling. It's entertainment, it's passing of news, it's tradition, it's everything. So what we really have been trying to focus on doing is not to be telling the stories externally per se, but to internalize them, to have our whole company talking, to have our whole company sharing what it is that we do, we don't do, where we need to focus our attentions. And by doing that, naturally you are involving your guests. Your guests then involve their agents are involving their agents, and it's this further growth and amplification purely through authentic storytelling. Real people telling real stories about real experiences.
I love the approach of using internal teams as well to be the voices, almost the ambassadors of the business. It goes a long way in terms of, having a sense of pride for what is happening in the work that you do as well.
I may be a marketing director, but there are 426 marketing people in our business, and they may not have marketing in their title, but my job is to make sure that their voices are heard and that they feel that they can speak and there's somewhere to speak and they're listened to, and it's important. And while I could go and spend millions and millions of dollars on big advertising campaigns, it would mean nothing if it wasn't echoing what it is that our business is about. And at the end of the day, the person who makes the bed for a client in the room is as important as the CEO of the business, because they are part of the same organization, they're invested in the same organization. The same guest sleeps in that bed, whether that person is there or that person is there, it's the same guest. So for us, the approach is very simple. You start at the grassroots level and you work your way up and out.
I love that you instill a sense of pride and everyone takes ownership for their roles as well, because there's a bigger picture involved here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming in to speak to us, Andrew, and congratulations on the incredible award.
We are very grateful, and thank you so much for the opportunity to also talk about Desert and Delta, but more so to highlight responsible tourism.
Absolutely.
That was the theme that I really loved from yesterday. Let's talk responsible, not sustainable, not all of those have their place, but responsible tourism.
Onwards and upwards to you and the team.
Onwards and upwards. Thank you very much, Andela.
That was Andrew Flatt, the marketing director from Desert and Delta Safaris. Thank you.
Some places need to be experienced, others need to be felt. At Orange Orbit Productions, we create cinematic lodge and tourism content that captures the essence of your destination, from sweeping landscapes to intimate details and authentic moments. Through both video and photography, we don't just show your location, we tell its story. Orange Orbit Productions. Inspire the journey before it begins.